What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin, and I hope you hear me loud and clear out there as you come in and to check out the live stream. Please let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. So, we've made some improvements around here at Round One Sports TV. I hope you like the audio, and I also hope you like the video, because we increased the video today. I got a new camera, uh, some features here, loud and clear. Thanks, man. Yo, the camera comes with a remote and shit, so it's pretty dope, right? I could do some stuff here. I just oh shit, I just gotta learn how to do all this stuff with it. Um, I think I can get the camera to follow me. Sounds good, bro? I think I can get this camera to follow me. Hold up. Yeah, that shit's dope, bro. Hold up. Ah, shit. What if I'm over here? What's camera? What if I'm over here? Camera. Yo. Yo, that shit's cool. So I got some cool features and shit I'm gonna be messing with. Find out. But let me know if the audio is good. What's up, chat fam? How y'all doing? Salute to everybody joining in. HD quality. You see that? You see that? Yo, stepping up my game right now. I wish I could show you the camera, but I can't show you the camera because the camera I'm using it. But I got a new camera. Then I got that system right there. So hopefully the audio is coming out great. Let me turn this off right here. Cause I know I don't got the noise cancellation on yet. Cause it was just ducking my sound and shit a little bit. But I'm learning about that. They're telling me to turn up the output a little bit. But I gotta get it where that I get at least a good, you know what I mean, a good sound for you guys. But the quality in the picture is amazing right now. I can see it for myself, so I'm like, hell yeah. And then on top of it, you know what I'm saying? Your boy, you know what I'm saying? I just want to thank you for everyone tuning in right now, right? And showing your support for the channel. Let's get it. Let me know y'all heard that out there, the sound effects. I might have to put one of these in my ear. I got to be able to hear that. Yo, did y'all hear the sound effects? Smash that like button. Frontline, what's up, baby? I'm about to hit the sound effect right now. Like, okay, let's see.
What did he say?
Did y'all hear that? I'm gonna have to check real quick. Yup. He says, yeah. Mm. Uh, let me see where I'm at. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I could do that right now. What's up, guys? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys, that's what's up, man. Hey, listen, we doing real big things around here, around One Sports TV. I know the effects is working. They coming in loud and clear. The mic, everything sounds pretty good. Maybe I might have a little bit of a rebirth or just a little bit of tuning or something, but I'm not expecting it to get it on the second shot. But if I do, I'm gonna leave it right here. But anyway, let's get into this episode. We got a lot of boxing to talk about. Um, Well, we have the return of the monster Naoya Inoue, and I am excited. I am excited. Naoya Inoue, he's making his ring return against TJ Doheny. I was looking up TJ Doheny as this fight is getting closer. We have a lot of big cards in front of us. The announcement of Saul Canelo Alvarez and Berlanga. The return of Danny Swift Garcia. He's going to be fighting uh, um, uh, L- uh, Laura. He's going to be fighting Laura. So, and they're going to be fighting at an interesting weight. That fight right there, Danny Garcia, Swift Garcia, he's coming back to make his ring return at 160 pounds. And I find this interesting. A long time ago, their names were thrown around once upon a time to face each other, but not at 160 pounds. So that's an interesting, and that's going on the Saul Canelo Alvarez card. We also have the Saudis coming up with the Terrence Crawford card, and that's a big card. You got both big babies on the card, Big Baby Miller and Big Baby uh what's his name there? Gerald Miller. I mean Anderson. So there's a lot of big names on that card right there. Been a couple that have been taken off. The Tim Tszyu, the Jermaine, I mean Virgil Ortiz. That card got scratched off of there and stuff. I heard an interesting rumor about Anthony Joshua and about beating Dubois and how the Saudi prince made him an offer. Remind me about that. We'll talk about that a little later on the show and about a lot of these other fights right here. Um, but right now, I want to, bring up Naoya Inoue, one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter we have in our era today. Interesting enough, I went online and there was like, I think it was ESPN. A reporter for ESPN did a, a breakdown of what he feels like the they did a poll, they asked people, and they try to do the best they could, and they put the top 10 fighters of our generation, and you know, the list, it was gonna be controversial. You know, there's a lot of people I felt like could have been on the list that weren't on the list, but ESPN tried to, I guess, do the best they could. They had a couple people in the right order, my opinion, but they had Floyd Mayweather at one. They had, I believe it was Manny Pacquiao at two. They had, I think they did, Ward. Ward was on the list. Canelo Alvarez was on the list. There were a couple great fighters, but then there were a couple fighters on that list that I was like, really? Like, they had, who was it? What was his name there? Uh, um, Marquez. They had Marquez, Juan Marquez on the list as one of the top 10 generational fighters. And I was like, really? I just thought some other fighters would have made that list. But anyway, the reason why I brought that all up is because when we look back at Naoya Inoue and what he's doing in his impressive career, where are they going to place him on such lists like this? Um, like I've talked to you guys about this. As an active fighter, he can't be placed on one of these lists because his career is not finalized. As soon as he retires and he stays retired, then the Hall of Fame, acknowledges that you stayed retired, and they'll call your number. Hopefully, there are a lot of fighters that are still waiting for that phone call to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Boxing Hall of Fame. So, he can't be put on one of some of those lists right now. But Naoya Inoue, if you're not familiar with him, he is a Japanese fighter. He has the nickname the Monster, and he has it for a reason. This man is truly electrifying. He has truly elevated the sport of boxing, and he's showing these boxers out there, if you stay focused and dedicated to your craft, that the skies are the limit. It's up to you what you put into it and how good you are as a fighter, where you can take your career. I'm not saying that every fighter in the world could turn out to be a Naoya Inoue, but at least you know that if you put in that kind of hard work and dedication, you won't second guess your career. You would know that your skills took you as far as you can go, and you probably would and surprise yourself, you know. So Naoya Inoue is truly a gifted athlete as it is, um, and he fell into the sport I believe he was born to do. This man at the age of 19 years old came out. He didn't even make his Japanese Olympic team. The Japanese committee, I guess they had their eye on someone else. Okay. He would have been a surefire pick. But that goes to show you that an amateur background does not always translate well to the professionals and vice versa. But in this case in particular, Naoya Inoue is a hell of a professional boxer. Let me explain. In only 6 professional fights, he obtained his first world title, and in only 8 professional fights, he was already a 2 division world champion. And that should say a lot to the kind of, like, look, there are not many men in this world that are ready to jump up and fight for a world title in only 6 fights. I would say that the division might have to be a little weak, the competition might be a little thin, and you would have to be somewhat electrifying to achieve something like that. Vasily Lomachenko has the world record for the fastest man to achieve a world title in history, in boxing history. He was going to he got his first crack at a world title, let's just be honest, in his second professional fight. His second professional fight, they gave Vasily a crack at a world title. Problem is, he lost that fight. In only 4 professional fights, Vasily was then awarded again another title shot, in which, in fact, that fight he won. You see? So Vasily did it in 4. And a lot of people are going to say that he had a lot of help, right? And that he was favored in the sport of boxing. That has a little truth, but it's not all true. What gave Vasily that shot at the world title in only his second professional fight, say it with me now, not 1, but 2 gold medals. That's what got him his fucking title shot with only 2 professional fights. When you come into the sport of boxing with 1 gold medal, you're going to skyrocket your career straight to a title shot, just like all the people that came into boxing with a gold medal. If you were to win, Robersi ended up losing his debut, like that, right? But like he didn't have 1, he had 2. So Ukraine, the boxing people, he had a lot of buzz from the Olympics, and he was merited that they felt that he was, gonna had the right for that opportunity. And in a way he did. With 2 gold medals, bro. Yeah, I feel like if I had 2 gold medals, I would deserve a title shot like that. Yeah, but losing the fight, then getting another shot at now that's where a lot of controversy comes up, bro. Like, wow, you would just they were just blessing them with title. Oh, you want to lose one? Don't worry about it. We got another one for you. You know, and Naoya Inoue became a 2 division world champion in only 8 professional fights. Naoya Inoue has really he is truly impressive. When he started to make his rise and descent throughout the divisions, he he won a belt at 115. He not only did he become a 2 division world champion in only 8 professional fights. There's something that sometimes I skip by because it's overlooked sometimes. But when he became a 2 division world champion in only 8 professional fights, mind you, from the first division he won his first belt, he didn't jump up to the next weight division. No, he jumped up 2 weight divisions. That's right. His first jump from moving from his original weight to the next adjacent weight, he jumped two weight divisions. He didn't take a tune up fight. He didn't fight the number one contender. Who did he fight? He fought the champion right away. Right away. And let me be very, very, very clear with you on this, right? It's easy for all fans and everybody to clamor over the big fights, right? And we say, "Oh, we want to see um you fighting the best time and time again, over and over and over again." Let me tell you people something. Th- That is not recommended to do in the sport of boxing. You can't just keep going out there and fighting killer after killer after killer. Your longevity in your career, at some point, you know, you can never guess in boxing what a real tomato can is. We always see that underdog story. A fight is a fight, to tell you the truth. Okay? And styles make fights. You might go into this fight thinking you could beat this guy. This guy fucked you up. Ask Saul Canelo Alvarez when he fought Bebo. Ask him, see what happened. Not every fight goes as planned. So when he was moving up through the rankings, Naoya Inoue, he was truly fighting the best of the best. Now, way back in one of those weight divisions in 115 where he left Chocolito and all those other guys that was questioning that, oh, he should have fought them. Well, Naoya Inoue was on a different trajectory. He was on a trajectory and only he knew what he had planned. Naoya Inoue, he betted on himself. He said, no, I'm going to be this kind of champion. I'm not going to stick around and fight you just because of your name. Okay, what do you have to offer? Do you have a belt? Is this for unification? Where is it going to put me? That's the questions. Now, in a way, right from the gate, right? I thought it was interesting when this 5'5", 19-year-old kid, 5'5", 108 pounds. He's 108 pounds at this time. He tells his management, I want this stipulated in my contract that if I sign with you, I only ask for one thing. And the manager looked at him and said, what is that? And he said, you get me the toughest fights and the quickest shots at the world champions. I'll take all challenges. I accept all challenges. Do not ever get me a low ranked opponent or an opponent that's not worth something. I need that stipulated in my contract or I will not sign with you. You see? So I was like, shit, right? For a little 19-year-old kid, 108 pound, talking crazy like that. Yes, I did hear that in like the middle part of the beginning of his career when I first stumbled upon him. Yeah, I heard a commentator talk about that very thing. I looked it up. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's just tough guy talk. I guess not, huh? Naoya Inoue has climbed up four weight divisions and he has successfully unified all four belts in two separate weight divisions, 118-pound, and now currently at the weight division that he is in at 122 pounds. Now he's gonna make his ring return in Japan. He's gonna be making his return against TJ Doheny. And for all of you guys that don't are not familiar with TJ Doheny, TJ Doheny's boxing career record, he's coming into this fight. He's 26 fights, 20 knockouts, and 4 losses. And in the 4 losses that he has never been stopped. He was outboxed, lost the fights. As a matter of fact, why don't we check him out? And I'm going to show you his losses right now. So he lost a majority decision loss in a 12-round fight. Then he lost a unanimous decision in a 8-round fight. Then he lost a 12-round decision, another unanimous decision, and his last loss was a 10-round fight, and he lost by a unanimous decision. So TJ Doheny has never been stopped. He's never been stopped. He's never been knocked out. Here's another fighter that's coming into this fight, a former world champion that's never been knocked out. Okay. He's up there in age. He's 36 years old. But if we can believe and have faith that Terrence Crawford at 36 years old is going to beat Marjamar Israel, then what the fuck is wrong with Doheny? If no one in the world thinks that uh, Terrence Crawford is old, then what the fuck is, they're the same exact age. They just want to build this and try to discredit Naoya Inoue's name. When Naoya Inoue is fighting a guy that 36, he's an old man. When Terrence Crawford's going to fight at 36, he's the world champion. Go figure. You see? And then let me, just in case you're new to my channel or haven't seen my last videos, let me reintegrate why we're here. There we go. We showing the love and the support. Oh no, we got the dub. Drop it for your boy. Thank you. Where's every fight start at? Round one. Thank you. That's what's up. Just supporting. Thank you. Thank you. That's going to go to a great cause for the channel and get me out to some of these fights. Absolutely. As you can see, how I'm always investing into my stream and to giving you guys great quality. We got HD quality right now. We got remotes popping off everywhere. So, yo, listen, doing big things and I appreciate it. And it's all because of you guys showing the love and support to this channel is why this channel is growing. And I want to thank you. And I'm going to give y'all, that's to all of y'all out there. You know what I'm saying? Give yourselves a round of applause. So, listen, the reason why we're here with TJ Doheny right now is because, you know, Sam Goodman jumps into the ring, challenges Naoya Inoue, tells him in front of all of Naoya Inoue's fans in the Tokyo Dome, which was like almost 50,000 plus people in attendance, right? He tells them, either you fight me or vacate the belts.
A few moments later.
He said, no, I need a tune-up fight. I don't want to fight you. I'm fighting someone else, and broke his hands. Does this make any sense? The reason why we're here with TJ Doheny is because that threw Naoya Inoue's schedule. He thought he was going to fight Goodman next, right? When Goodman pulls out, fights that tune-up fight that made no sense at all, he had no opponent, Naoya Inoue, and here slides in TJ Doheny. And I want you guys to understand that the minute that Goodman, stepped aside, MJ could have took this fight. Stephen Kubo Fulton could have ran it back with him. Anybody could have raised their hand and said, that I would be ready for that date. Now, in some people's schedules, it caught people by surprise. Everybody thought Goodman was going to fight him. So nobody was like, Goodman's about to get the fight. All of a sudden he backs out. And dudes is like, man, I bet if you were training, you could have got that Naoya Inoue fight. I'm not going to be ready, coach. I'm not going to blow my shot and go in there and get knocked out and be mad at myself and say I didn't have a full training camp. Then I shouldn't have took the fight because guess what? That loss is going to count on your record. You see what I'm saying? So like it had to be somebody that was going to make the deadline. It had to be somebody, and here pops in TJ Doheny. He's already fought in Japan. He had his last fights out there, right? Interesting enough, though, when I was looking up TJ Doheny, like, okay, I was like, wait a minute, right? I can't let this slide, right? Yo, they got it listed right here. It's right here. You can see it right there, right? Naoya Inoue versus TJ Doheny, right? TJ Doheny's last fight was an 8-round scheduled fight. Yeah, he was already going down in rounds. The one before that was a 12 round. The one before that was a 12 round. He knocked out the guy in the first round, and the other one he stopped the guy in a TKO in the fourth round. And he was a Japanese fighter. I'm gonna butcher his name, so I'm not gonna even say it. So then he's coming off an 8-round fight, and I was like, shit, this is the man that had to step up and save the day, so that we can get the monster Naoya Inoue on the date that was scheduled. This is the man that's saving the day. TJ Doheny stepped up when the rest of these guys didn't, they're all talk. They're all, oh, I'll fight the monster. No problem. He doesn't want to fight me. Where the fuck is Casamero? Where the fuck is all these guys? And I bet they were all offered the fight. I guarantee it. Because there's a lot of fans. I shit you not. There are a lot of fans out there, and am I right on this? That would rather see Naoya Inoue fight Casamero right now. Hell yeah. There are a lot of boxing fans right now, and like real like hardcore fans. We would want to see him fight MJ. Why isn't MJ's promotional company all of a sudden not getting along with Naoya Inoue's promotional company? Why all of a sudden? What's the problem? Why all of a sudden now these guys, when his schedule got open, the only man that said, hey, I'm right here, I'll fight him, it was TJ Doheny. But yet they're gonna say the monster picked this guy and the monster's picking cherry picks. No, this is the toughest ranked guy that said he'll be ready for the fight and he'll take the fight. The highest guy they could find. He's ranked number 2, by the way. And Naoya Inoue is about to go fight in Japan, the number 2 fighter in the world, and it's a step down for him. That's how dominant Naoya Inoue and the expectations of the fans that when you're fighting the number 2 opponent in the world, that's not good enough. That is not good enough for our expectations. You see how the fans are? And I would consider that to be great. What do you mean? You're fighting the number 2 guy in the world? You're also giving him an opportunity at crack at 4 belts, changing his life. Doheny's in the gym right now saying, I hit the fucking lottery. I've already lost fights. I've never been knocked out, but I've never been given an opportunity to fucking stamp my name in the Hall of Fame with one fight. TJ Doheny's mentality, bro, he must be in there fucking, right? I would. Get me in front of Naoya Inoue, I jump on him like a spider monkey. Even if he knocked me out, I don't care, bro. But I know one thing, I wouldn't leave nothing out of my preparation. I know going into a fight of that magnitude, I would have left it all in the gym. Everything I would have gave everything, every sleeping, waking hour would have been eat shit boxing, bro. That is an opportunity that most men in the world would never get. Never. Saul Canelo Alvarez is giving Edgar Berlanga this shot at his belt right now. And not one Puerto Rican out there is bet or convinced that he has a remote of a chance of beating Saul Canelo Alvarez. The thing is, he actually does. He has I'll give him a puncher's chance. Berlanga can crack. Whether or not he's going to catch up to Saul Canelo Alvarez and Saul is not going to butcher his body, chop him down like a tree, then drag him out into deep water, then knock him out. That's exactly what I see happening in this fight. Between 6, 7, and 8, Berlanga's out of here. Berlanga's gonna get out. Saul Canelo Alvarez is searching for this knockout. He couldn't get it off Ryder. Jaime Munguia. Uh, Saul wants that knockout, and they done hyped up Edgar Berlanga to the point where he's walking around believing the bullshit that they're telling him. And Ed Hearn signed Berlanga, I believe, to be the sacrificial lamb. He's gonna make a lot of money on a Saul Canelo Alvarez fight, as far as Ed Hearn and Matchroom goes as a company. That's a lottery fight right there for that weight division. Saul's that lottery. Javante Davis is the 135 lottery, and Naoya Inoue is the 122 lottery, and Terrence Crawford is the 154 lottery fight. And then Usyk is the heavyweight lottery fight. You understand? Those are the biggest fights in boxing. Those are the biggest names. And if you can secure one of those names I just mentioned, you just hit a lottery fight in boxing. So, you know, I I I think that Berlanga has a big opportunity in front of him here. Whether or not how he's preparing for this, if Berlanga thinks that all he's gonna do is go to the gym and increase his sets, he's gonna get knocked out. Nah, Berlanga, you gotta train morning, noon, and night. Jog at night in the middle of the night. Just wake up, put on your jogging shoes, and go run 5, 10 miles, 7 miles or something for just no reason at all. And then get up in the morning and go train again. You need to give 100 more percent than what you have ever given or trained in your life, Berlanga. Because you can also raise your stock. If Berlanga goes in there and makes a good account of himself, yeah, he could raise his stock. Say he staggers Saul Canelo Alvarez or even drops him, Berlanga. You know, uh, look, man, I'm not hating on Berlanga. I'm real critical on him. You know what I mean? He is a Puerto Rican fighter. And I love all boxers and shit. But I gotta be honest. If Berlanga is not as dedicated to the sport and he's not, and we can see it, why should we cover or defend his bullshit as just because I'm Puerto Rican? I'm just gonna fucking back him up when I see obviously that there with each fight there's been a decline in his performances. His speed has been down, his technique's been down, his fundamentals, his ring IQ, everything. And he's coming off this bullshit ass stoppage. And he thinks off that stoppage, you're going to fight probably arguably one of the greatest fighters of our time right now. One of them. Saul's way too smart in the ring. And he knows yo, his patience, Saul Canelo Alvarez's patience is off the charts. He systematically breaks a fighter down. The fighter is the last person in the ring to know that he's been broken down by Saul Canelo Alvarez. He tries to be a little too smooth with it. When he used to do it when he was young, he used to do it nasty. He would punish them and their guards would just drop and boom, and he knocked out Reeds and he just flew with his arm like that. When Saul was knocking him out like that, he was chopping them boys down. Saul's a great fighter, man. He really is. He's a great fighter. He's really smart. Saul's smart. He doesn't have all the talent in the world, like the God given skill talent. But as a fighter, smart, he knows how to work with what God blessed him with. Saul has mastered himself. He knows that he's not that speed demon. He knows he's not that slick style, elusive, like Floyd like type fighter, athletic. No, he's a pressure fighter. And he knows that. He knows exactly who he is. His body shot, that hook to the body, I believe is one of his hardest punches. He can punch up top real strong, Saul. Yeah. He got a mean like like he drops it like a rock. Like when he throws his overhand right, it's not like your typical overhand like throwing like that. Like Saul like puts his weight on it too. He knows how to hook it. He throws that slight curve to it. So he hits hard. Saul hits hard. And like I said, uh as a fighter, he's tough. He's tough. He's gonna take those shots. He's gonna weather that storm. He's gonna walk you down in that high guard. He's gonna block those body shots, and he's just gonna get those one, two, three, shots on you. It's gonna be like one boom, and then one, two boom, and then back to one boom. But those shots are gonna hurt. And over a course of period of time, he's gonna just break Berlanga down. Berlanga's arms are gonna go down like that, and Saul's gonna end up knocking out Berlanga. That's my prediction for the fight. Absolutely. As Naoya Inoue against TJ Doheny. Once again, another tough fight for Naoya Inoue. TJ Doheny, a lot of people are sleeping on this guy. And I'm not sure if you guys been paying attention to like Naoya Inoue's last two fighters, right? They were wild guys, spontaneous type fighters, like TJ Doheny, not your typical boxer, counter punch type guys. They're kind of like try to disguise punches as boxers. Those guys like Luis Pantera Nares, he tries to disguise it. Boom, hit. Same shit with TJ Doheny. Same shit with Marlon Tapales. They're not your typical like this is gonna be a tough fight for Naoya. Anyway, he he's not the type of fighter that just goes into every fight and fights the exact same way he fought the last guy. No, he's making reads, he's making adjustments, he's watching patterns for his opponent. He's gonna be watching Tijo Doheny. And that's why I know with fighters like when he fights like wild guys like this, there's a feel out process for Naoya Inoue. Had he been boxing a more athletic boxer, he would have a much faster start. He would have a much faster start. Yes. Like when he fought like um what's his name there? Des Marines. The Filipino. Naoya Inoue fought Des Marines, right? Des Marines was long, he was tall. And Des Marines is a pretty decent fighter. And, the way Naoya Inoue shut him down and broke him. If you go back and you watch that fight in the early rounds, Naoya Inoue didn't throw a single body shot. Not one. He punched Des Marines. His first attack on Des Marines was all up here. He was hitting him on the side of the head right here. And those punches hurt. You know why I know they hurt so much? Because Des Marines was so after from receiving several punches from Naoya Inoue at the top of his head, Des Marines decided to go in a high guard and he went like this. He didn't want to get hit no more in the head. And what did that open up? All the bottom right here, the body. And Naoya Inoue, his body attack, he's real lengthy. He can throw a body shot from a far distance. It really surprises his opponents. He doesn't have to be up close to you. His first step and the way he like leans his body and stretches his arm, he gets right underneath the guard. And then before you even like he's standing over there, you think you're safe. And all of a sudden, he's right here and he's snapping a shot right at your body right here. And you're like, oh shit. And then you throw that punch stupidly because this is the last place you saw him at. And what's going to happen? He's going to snap you right on the top. He's going to dodge that and come right over and snap you. And he's going to teach you lessons in that square circle. Now, yeah, anyway. And Des Marines, even though he hit him with vicious body shots, those shots to the head were more important. He was like, yo, them shits hurt. And he kept going with the high guard. Now, yeah, in a way, he made reads. He saw things. He sees flaws in fighters. You're not going to be able to do too many mistakes in front of him. the fact that you're fighting a wild guy, a more like a spontaneous fighter, you're not doing the same two, three things. So now, yes, reads are not gonna, they're not gonna be, he's gonna say to himself, he's not doing that again twice. Like a normal boxer goes, and then he resets. And he does the same thing, and then he'll reset. Then he'll try to switch it up with his fist, right? Naoya is reading that. He's seeing you go like this. So he goes one, two, three, bang, punches there. He's timing, you know what I'm saying? But when you're over here just like this and then throwing this and then throwing that, and then he's just like, he has to go off instinct. That's when you use your cat like reflexes and your twitch muscle movements come into fights like that, where your windows are going to be fast and you got to capitalize quick. Can't second guess yourself. And that's when those windows, and then he's gonna react fast, I believe, with TJ Doheny. I believe Naoya Inoue will be the first man to stop TJ Doheny. I believe that TJ Doheny is a real tough man. I believe that he's a real tough man. I believe he could take a lot of pain. That speaks throughout his career, never being knocked out. He went all to decisions. In order to beat TJ Doheny, you would have to outclass him and go to the scorecards and beat him on the scorecards, because guess what? You weren't going to knock him out, right? Okay. Now, I've seen Doheny go down in a fight. Yeah. Yeah. He just never been knocked out. You see, he made it out of the round. He survived and so forth. A matter of fact, against Goodman. You see, so um, he's tough. He's really tough. And like I said, with these kind of wild guys, you never know. He's got a lot to fight for. He's got a lot of motivation. TJ Doheny, he's got everything in the palm of his hand. Imagine waking up tomorrow and you being TJ Doheny. Look at your wife and kids before you go out to train. And think about the kind of life at this age you can provide. Yo, that's a mandatory rematch. Chi-ching, right? So if you win the first one, your life is changed forever. Like, okay? So take one good look at your kids. Kiss your wife on the lips goodbye as you walk out that door to go start that training camp, whether you train away from home or wherever, right? Just remember what you fighting for, TJ. He's got everything on the line, everything to win. Bro, that's why when Naoya, anyone that walks into the ring with Naoya in a way, they're gonna be fighting. He's gonna be fighting the best version of that guy every time somebody gets in the ring with him. He's that kind of champion. He is the lottery. No one's gonna take it easy on him. He's the type of guy that the champion, you try to get him sparring partners. I've talked about this, and the sparring partners come in crazy, hungry, little young lions. They want to see how they match up against a world champion. This fucking sparring partner that you got is fighting you like he's fighting you for your world titles. You got to knock him out now. Like, yo, kid, calm down. And then he's like, I'm the best. I want to see, that's all you're getting. So for people to come out and say, now we ain't always fighting a tomato. Who the fuck Tomato Can gets a shot at 4 belts? You know what I'm saying? I've heard of tomato cans, yes, in the past, right? Like scheduled tomato cans. Not a guy that raised his hand and said, I'll do it. That's the number 2 contender in the world, too. Okay? I'll do it. Listen. No, he's not a big tomato can. That guy's trying to fight. All bets are off the table for TJ Doheny. He's trying to in there chase greatness in one fight and change his stars. So there is no easy fight here. I don't know what anybody else thinks. Hey, he gonna go out there whether or not Naoya Inoue makes the fight easy. That's a different story. If Naoya Inoue makes short work of him, that speaks to Naoya Inoue's fucking dominance. Rather than you guys, everybody trying to say Naoya Inoue knocked out this bum or something bullshit. I bet you Naoya Inoue knocked off the best version of that man. He cannot possibly have more motivation. Fuck if he had motivation for winning that one world title. You fighting for 4 belts now. Where's his motivation at? Probably the most money he's ever made. Where's his motivation at? He's about to fight the best version of that man. And like I said, I'm going to reintegrate this. If TJ Doheny at 36 years old, right, can fight Naoya Inoue, and they're going to say, what, TJ's old? Then what the fuck is Terrence Crawford at 36 years old fighting Israel? They're the same age, bro. DJ's in this fight, just like Terrence Crawford's in that fight. And a lot of people do. I've heard it too on ESPN that some people are even afraid for this fight for Terrence Crawford. Not everybody thinks that Terrence Crawford's just going to win this fight. There are a lot of people out there that are saying Israel, he's a live dog. He's a big man. He's a big puncher. Let's not keep this in mind that Terrence Crawford is going into uncharted water. This is not his weight division. He's going into his weight division. So, hey, I've been just rocking, baby. I like the pitch. I like the sound. It's in my ear right now. Just rocking. I got to answer y'all questions. Let me know what y'all think, what y'all want to talk about with some of the biggest fight. Berlanga cashed in and retires early. Yo, he's a boy, man. You know why? You know why, man? The motherfucker had me fooled. I thought he was gonna be somewhere better. I didn't think he was gonna be that phenom they started to call him when he had the 16 knockout streak, like in the first round. But I was like, yeah, Boricua, we got one. We got one. Let's let him get better. He's doing that with that competition. I was like, let him get. Then all of a sudden, the next time I saw him, he had the chains on, the earrings, the haircut, and he was with the bitches. He was out with this dude. No fight scheduled. No fight scheduled. Luck lasted performance. No fight scheduled. Luck lasted. And I just watched him with my own 2 eyes. And I said, I've seen that before in boxing. I've seen that before. Some of these kids don't know how to deal with fame and money. They forget what got them there. They forget that your career as an athlete, it's like 10 years. If that, it's like 10 fucking years. That's it. From 20 to 30. Anything coming in earlier, you were exceptional. Any later, you're exceptional. You know what I'm saying? I hope you still have your job at 30, right? And to tell you the truth, life net doesn't even start at 30 years old. You got so much living to do that you could have focused those 10 years and said no to the partying. After your career is over, you could have partied with those same people and been a megastar. What's up with the donations today? Love you guys showing the support. Thank you. Dropping the 5 on your boy. I thought it was a double, right? I looked at, okay, yeah, no, but love the 5. This 5 spot. Just as important. Love it. Thank you. And like, guys, who should Tank fight now that Loma is out? I've talked about this on separate situations and times and stuff, but I'm gonna address it again. Uh, Loma, this is a straight duck right here. I really don't care what anyone else says about it. Because you don't duck the lottery fight. We just talked about this. Hank Davis is the lottery fight in that weight division. So that means that you're gonna stand to make the most money at the end of your career at 36 years old, and it would be for unification. That what you're doing, you said to your father, is you want to unify all four belts. In order to do that, that road leads to Tank Davis. There's one of your belts. And now you're not motivated for the biggest fight, the lottery fight, and to possibly win another belt. How much more motivation do you need, Tank Davis? I mean, um, Vasily Lomachenko. How much more motivation would he need, right? So obviously he doesn't want to fight Tank Davis. What he wants to do is let the Americans take out the Americans. They want Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson to knock themselves off. Because we got to remember that these are our gold medals in boxing. These belts are the gold medals. We're competing our flag against every other flag in the world. When Japan wins, they take those belts there. When Mexico wins, they take those belts to Mexico. When Ukraine wins, when Vasily wins, he takes that belt back to Ukraine. All the belts at heavyweight division are with Usyk in Ukraine. We don't own one, do we? No. So you were given an opportunity to obtain another belt and bring it back to your country with the lottery fight and the biggest fucking pay per view is you're not going to get pay per view with any other boxer, Vasily. There's only a small amount of boxers that fight for pay per view, right? So, and he says, no, nah. So, what now they want to do is every time you see Tank Davis and Shakur fighting, arguing, the fighters are going to be the fighters. But behind the scene, their management, they're talking to each other and they're saying to themselves, yo, I don't want to put our American guy against your American guy. I don't feel like we should knock each other out right now. We should beat everybody else and then come to fight ourselves. You see? So when you don't get those fights, you didn't get the Devin Haney and the Tank and the Shakur. It's because America didn't want to take out America. These guys are trying to be slick and have us take ourselves out so they can slide in and only beat one guy when we have all these strong champions. And whenever you see in history, this is boxing history, on average, the only thing that beats a black American fighter is another black American fighter. Typically, on average, or a Mexican. Yeah. Now it's a Ukrainian, Japan. Now you got Filipino dudes. The boxing is evolving. It's evolving. So now we like, hold up, wait a minute. Rather than putting our guys against each other, fucking go knock out Vasily. Vasily put his tail between his legs and took off. So now Tank, he's stuck with not a lot of options, but he does. That Shakur fight is it's on the table, right? And these dirty motherfuckers really want us to fight each other. They want America to fight America. And then the other two Ukrainian dudes don't gotta fight themselves. Vasily doesn't have to fight the other Ukrainian guy, and he already announced publicly that he won't fight him. But if an American fighter says, if Tank says, I don't want to fight Shakur, America will lose their mind. Tank's a bitch. Fucking, he's ducking Shakur. He said he don't want. They wouldn't understand and he's trying to be patriotic and be like, yo, like the Olympic, we're actually on the same team. Hank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr., and the list goes on. That's our American boxing team. That's who represents America. They're all actually on the same team. They have the right to compete against each other. Yeah. But sometimes don't feed into like that's the fighters are always going to be themselves. Fighters are like dogs. They're always barking at the cage. Open the fucking cage, right? The dog's just going to fight. But business wise, promotional wise, the promotional companies, they're trying to protect themselves from themselves. They don't realize that Sean Davis, all he's doing is talking shit to other American fighters. Nah, bro, go knock out Russian fighters. Go knock out Japan fighters. Go knock out the Mexicans. Go knock out the Dominicans. Go knock out the motherfucking Filipinos. Go knock Ecuadorians, the Brazilians. Go knock them out. Beat all of them, clear the division. Then last man standing like Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. Both of them wiped every nation out until there was only them two left. We're coming to a position where that's soon to be with Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis. And I'm starting to see it. But I needed to open your eyes and shed a little bit of insight on the fact of why they haven't fought yet, the Devin Haney's and these guys. Because it was just us there. The four horsemen were four fucking American fighters. And well, Vasily wasn't. They kind of like put Vasily in there. See what I'm saying? But it was the Tank Davis, the Devin Haney, the Shakur Stevenson, the Leo, Teofimo Lopez. They're American fighters. So yeah. But now it's getting to a point where that the Ukrainians can get away with it. Vasily can say, "No, he's from my country. I don't want to fight him," and they don't say anything else about it. Let Shakur Stevenson say, "Tank's from my country. I don't want to fight him." Oh, he's a bitch. He's done. Yo, they'll flip. Americans, we rowdy. We savages like that. We don't understand like when people talk about and you hear them talking in boxing, my fellow countrymen, my fellow countrymen. The fuck's he talking about? They address themselves like, all over the world and shit. No, salute to my fellow countrymen. He fought tonight. I give him countrymen. The fuck? Uh, Around the world, it everywhere else is different than us. We have a tendency of forgetting that. We have a tendency of forgetting that all sports in America, we're just competing against ourselves. So we're always talking shit to ourselves. Like we're comparing Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant or to LeBron. What are those? Those are American fucking players, right? Like we're savages. We are straight savages. We will eat each other. Yes, we will. And sometimes sports are evolving. Yeah, and we got to realize that these kind of things we need to like not be stupid and fucking kill ourselves. And then one guy comes in and beats and takes all the gold and takes off. You know what I mean? Like a motherfucking George Gonzaga. Gonzaga. He beat all the American guys at their old. He beat but Hopkins. He beat Roy Jones Jr. But they were already past their prime. And he came in and he got all the glory, retired undefeated. Yo, he's revered out there like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And according to them, and who can shut his mouth up? The way they managed that man's career, Joe Gonzaga. Yo, but I gotta admit, the dude can fight. He fucking Roy Jones, Roy Jones. He was doing the Roy Jones on Roy Jones. It was just fucking horrible to watch because I was saying the whole time, if that was the real Roy Jones Jr. in that ring, my man, you would be laying right there on the ground. Had that been the real version of Roy Jones Jr., man, listen, you don't do that to Roy. Roy would have knocked, bro. And sometimes boxers just don't end their career well. And I talked about that as well, you know. They just don't, brothers. They retire. I mean, before retirement, they come back and fight in their 40s, 42. Bernal Hopkins was getting knocked out of the ring at 45, 50 years old. It was fucking ridiculous, and that fucked up the Bernard's fucking legacy career. Bernard is actually a way better fighter. We've actually never got to see the best version of Bernal Harpington, not in one professional fight. Not one professional fight did I ever witness Bernard at his peak. Not one. Prison took that away from us. If we had Bernal Harpington without that prison sentence, whatever amount of fucking years he did, and he came into the sport young, and he would have developed in the sport rather than coming out of jail trying to unteach himself what he learned as a fighter in jail and what he believed as a fighter, then to build him back up as a fighter and then have him transcend as a fighter in the sport. And he was that good. Just the way the version we got. Had you take away that prison sentence and you let Bernard come into the sport just like any other guy with like a now 19 years old, just give him a 19, bro. But having, the amateur background too with it, like he was coming up like a Floyd in them, like these guys that get like Oscar and all of them. You take away that prison sentence from Bernard, I guarantee you he would even been a much better fighter than what he was. And that axe murderer, brother, if you don't listen, you got to understand fighting. He knew when to bully a fighter. He knew when to fight dirty. He knew when he was, outmatched. He needed to take a little off the opponent. Bernard did what he needed to do to win, and he had skills. And he had skills, and he understood um, distance. He was really good at that. He understood when to give that pressure punch, and he understood maybe not at the highest level how to make reads and adjustments. Because see, that's where Bernard was. That's what I mean. If we had a younger version, he would have his ring IQ would have been even higher, man. He just didn't. I think he was fighting with himself on ways that he believed he should have fought. And his kind of bully mentality. There were a lot of punches in different situations he didn't fire off because he didn't see them. Because his ring IQ wasn't that, but the man can fight. He could fight, man. And it just off instinct. He was born to fight. Those kind of guys were born to fight. They're fighter. You don't have to teach them shit. And they fighting like this. They were fighting like that naturally. You were just probably getting them in shape. And he was just a fighter. And then you gotta work off of that. And off through the amateurs and rising up, you start to develop yourself as a fighter. You start to understand the ins and outs of boxing, and shit starts to fall together for you. Then you start to develop a style for yourself as a pro. You got to forget all that amateur shit. You got to let that shit go because amateur boxing will get you fucked up in the pros. Don't you understand that amateur boxing is all offense? You only got 3 rounds. After 3 rounds, we go to the scorecard. You're about to lose this fight. For 3 rounds, all these guys are doing is just throwing punches going forward. There's no feeling out process. There's no fucking reading, making. You don't got time for that. You only got 3 rounds to work. So it's all, well, you can't do that in boxing. You go ahead and do that, you'll be a front runner. By the 5th, 6th round, you'll be gassed out. Knocked out, dumbass. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different strategy. The way you approach fighting is all different, man. Way different. So yeah. Listen, drop that like button, bro. This is what I'm up in here. Come on now. Come on, man.
Another one.
You know keep dropping another one. Stop it. Most of them don't know how to manage money. They let ah that's I believe that's everybody in the world. If you don't come from money and you get money, what you're gonna see, Hank Davis, prime example. Hank Davis came from obscurity. That's a real case where, I'm never going to talk about the man's mom. It's public record. He spoke about it, but she's still a queen. She was on drugs. I was going to say another way, and saying that would probably be, yeah. So, yeah, both his parents were. Javante Davis grew up like a lot of people I know, including myself, in the slums. When he got money, he didn't know how to manage money. Listen, his first paychecks and shit, he saw all those zeros. He got his mother, his brothers. You want to make sure Mom Dukes is doing right. So the one thing you want to do is get her away from there. So you figure you buy her little castle, her house. You get her away from everything. Mom's going to be good. Secure that. Now you got big bro looking for handouts, your best friend, girls, everything. Want to hang out with Floyd? Build your own entourage, jealousy, envy. You start forgetting about the training. He lost his belt on the scale, missing weight. Then he went back and got it back at 130. I believe he had the WBA and the IBF at 130 pounds. Because that speaks to him not being dedicated because he's getting money. Didn't want to train much, wanted to go out and spend his money. And then now you're seeing Tank Davis kind of come full circle to his last fight with Frank the Ghost Martin. You could see it in his eyes. He's stable. He's learning how to manage money now. He has his house. When he was put on, he had all that money. He crashed his Lambo hatchback into the girl's car, right? He got sentenced and put on a house bracelet, and he had to be released to Calvin Ford's apartment because Tank Davis didn't own a house in Baltimore, right? Or in New York, or because he actually went and bought a condo right on the outskirts of New York, I think it was, in Philly or somewhere like that, right? And they violated him. So that goes to show you, all the way up until that point, he didn't even have a house. So now he's starting to that happens to all of us. That happens to all of us, bro. You when 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 a kid from my neighborhood got a lot of money at one time, they went on shopping sprees. They went to buy Jordans, their friends Jordans, and like say he got like $50,000 in like a settlement. You would see him coming out of his house every day with like two, three, four, five guys and a couple girls. And all they would go out and spend money and come back to the house and look at all the new shit. That's what they would do until the money is gone. Once the money was gone, you see that same dude come out the house with none of his friends, no bitches, right? But he got all his stuff. Now he's in an apartment with expensive shit that everybody in the neighborhood knows he has. How long before they break into his house? You know how many times I've seen that, right? Then I watch the same scenario. Young kid comes from a good background, good educated, young black kid, gets $50,000. He goes and saves it, invests it in something else. And I was like, where's the shopping spree? He's like, fuck the shopping spree. I'm about to go do some shit, right? I was like, he has different parents. He had a different upbringing. He comes from money. They showed him different ways. A person from the hood For some reason, we just go on shopping sprees. We're okay with being broke. We're comfortable being broke. Being poor, you at some point you become comfortable. Sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to get yourself moving, to realize I'm not here because it's my mom's fault or my dad's fault. Nah. At a certain point, I had to realize the only way I'm going to get out of my situation is me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how like your mentality, your mindset got to be. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to take responsibility for that shit and be like, "Yo, I got to get this train moving." Right? So, yeah, man, it's mindset in boxing. I believe that you know, if you can convince yourself that you belong, you know, you belong, and just go after whatever you it is in your life that you want. What's next? Just keep asking yourself, what's next? What do I do next? And try to like focus on that shit. And as a boxer, there's a lot of things that go into it. You know, boxing is a crazy sport, right? And if you really break it down, right, you got to have your shit together in boxing. You got to be calm and cool when someone's attacking you. Someone's punching you in the face. What you got to do is not allow all your rage to come up. You got to control that. You got to think, but not think too much. You got to throw punches, but not leave yourself exposed. You got to have your shit together. You got to make your body and your mind flow as one. There are a lot of men I've seen thousands of fights in the hood, everywhere, in boxing matches, everywhere. And typically, when I see a guy like lose a fight, I'll be like, "Yo, what was you thinking?" When I saw him like do something, he says, "In here, I was a ninja, but when I went to fight, my body didn't respond." Right? And I was like, "That's what they call training." When you're young, you're like 17, you think something, you could kind of like pull it off. And if you were that athletic kid, it might come a little more natural to you than others, right? But in boxing, you got to have everything together. The worstest thing for a boxer is to think they can go on a hiatus, to take a year layoff. That's the worst thing you can do. Your body will fall out of shock. Your body's in shock while you're working out. It's in shock, meaning, you're not a couch potato. So your body is well conditioned and trained. If you stop working out, your reflex muscles, your eye-to-eye coordination, your foot, it's not going to be in sync. Now, the boxer always thinks, especially the ones that are real talented, God gifted boxers, because they always rely on their God given talent to bail them out. As you get older, right, they you're going to see that that's why the late, great Kobe Bryant, in that interview, he said, if I trained this way for 5 years, Kobe Bryant system, and you come across this Kobe Bryant system and you start doing the Kobe Bryant system today, guess what? I have 5 years on you with doing the Kobe Bryant system. As long as I don't stop and give you the chance to catch up or for me, to fall off, you're never going to beat me. So when you win a world title, the worstest thing to do, I call it a champion's curse. They say, what was they say when you ever see the American fighters? Who do you want to fight next? I don't know. It's not up to me. I'm gonna let my promotional company put that together. Right now, I'm going to Disney World, motherfucker. What you mean you don't know who you're gonna fight? Every fight until the time you won the fight, you called someone out. You win the belt, all of a sudden you forgot how to call people out? Motherfucker, you just want to go on a vacation. It's not time to party. You mean to tell me You practiced fighting for 10 years, gave 10, 12 years of your life to boxing, finally got the world title fight, won the belt, and the first thing you're going to do is go on vacation? That's a mistake. That's why Naoya Inoue is one of the greatest champions, and it's the things that he's doing. It's not only the fact that he's winning these belts, it's the example and the bar that he's rising and setting for all these other guys. Yo, no sooner that he won those belts, bro, the last three times in a row, he he knocked out Stephen Kubo Fulton, and Marlon Tapales was in the ring. Yeah. And he said, "Yeah, I'll fight you in 6 months." He knocked out Marlon Tapales, and he went and fought Luis Pantera Nares. He fought Luis Pantera Nares. Goodman was in the ring. He's not fucking around. Terrence Crawford, since he fought Errol Spence Jr., has not fought. Naoya Inoue is going on his third fight. They fought roughly within 2-3 week period of each other. Remember that. He's going on his third fight. Terrence still has not fought. His activity is just, he's showing these guys this is how it's done. With every fight and every opportunity, you're just adding legacy, but you're also taking chances. That's why what he's doing, the level of difficulty is extremely high. He's putting four belts on the line. He ain't putting one or two. Now he's the type of champion that he's putting up 4 belts every time he enters the ring. Who's doing that? Like, that's fucking ridiculous. So there's only 2 champions right now currently that have all 4 belts. Saul Canelo Alvarez and Naoya Inoue out of all the men that had 4 belts. Remember the big explosion? Everybody was getting 4 belts, right? Because sanctioning bodies were working with each other. 2023 was an amazing year for boxing. We all remember that, right? You know, you had Jamel Charlo, 4 belts. Saul Canelo Alvarez, 4 belts. You had Josh Taylor, 4 belts. You had Devin Haney, 4 belts. You got Usyk, 4 belts. You had fucking Naoya Inoue, 4 belts. Who else? Yo, hey, yo, all these dudes, man. And out of everybody that I mentioned, and if I missed out anybody that had 4 belts, just know that now currently there's only 2 people that have 4 belts. That's how hard that is to maintain. It's hard to get it, and it's even harder to maintain it because of all the headaches that come with being that kind of champion. Now you got a target on your back this fucking big, and you got 4 mandatories. When if you only fought for 1 belt, you only had 1 mandatory, you beat that guy up, beat that mandatory, get him out the way. Guess what? The rest of the year, you can fight whoever you want. Get a couple money fights, get a knockout before your next mandatory comes up. Then they're like, nope, this guy's a man. You got to fight him now. Now you got to honor that. Then I can go and fight and do whatever else I want. I'm the champion. That's the benefits of being a champion too. But when you got 4 belts, you on average as a champion or as any fighter, on average, you should be fighting 3 times. Boxers on average will fight 3 times a year. Bruce Carringtons of the world, those guys, they're young. They fighting 6 times a year. Go figure, right? 5 times a year. They crazy, right? But that's when you're young. You could do that when you're young. As you start to move up, like I talked about this, you don't want to fight the best as the best as the best. All the yo, bro, you're gonna go through a lot of damage, bro. That's fucking hard to do right there. So you see, so it's 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 not a simple thing to do to hold on to all those belts, and it's not a simple thing to do to fucking honor all 4 of your mandatories. Imagine if all 4 of your mandatories honored it. Yo, you're gonna fight killer after killer after killer after killer, and now you got no time at the remaining of the year to fucking fight any fight for you for money. You're gonna be making money while you're knocking out these killers. Hopefully, if you're winning, right? Because all those fights are gonna be fucking tough fights. There will be no time for tune-ups, fucking easy fights, nothing. Because if on average 1 year you're only fighting 3 times, you got 4 mandatory for that year. By the time you come into the following year, you still got to honor one of those mandatories. You're gonna be locked in to all the top guys. What we on fire today? Roll, my man. What's up? Where you been, baby? How you doing, Roll Rage? Let's drop it. Come on. Roll Rage got in the building and he dropped the
What did he say?
I said five. I said five. What do you plead? I plead fifth. Here, I got a document for you. Fifth. Yeah, baby. That's right. You know what I mean?
Another one.
Absolutely. So it's hard to like have that kind of target on your back, guys, and really, meet those expectations. It's easy for them to eventually strip you of one of those belts, and that's what ends up happening to men that have 4 belts. Typically, one of somebody's gonna piss off somebody and not please somebody, and you end up getting stripped for that. Not unless your name's Saul Canelo Alvarez and the entire world loves you because you're the cash cow of boxing and no sanctioning body is scared to death of even speaking up in the office of stripping you for that belt. Imagine the guy in the WBC headquarters that stands up and finally says, "You know what? I think everyone's right. We should strip Saul Canelo Alvarez." Oh, yo, they just sucker punched him. Yeah, yo, empty out your desk and on your way out, jump him. You're gonna tell us to get rid of the man that's bringing the most money to every organization, especially the WBC, right? Right, but you're gonna raise your hand. I think we should strip Saul. Bro, you will no longer work for the WBC. Yeah, that's just business. Unfortunately, it sucks for the men that are coming up, that are doing it the right way, that they deserve the look. Just simply ask David the Monster Benavidez how he feels about Saul Canelo Alvarez. Is it working out for him? Does this sound like a joke to him? No. But when we're observing it from Saul's side, he feels like he's given enough blood to the sport. When do after 60 fucking professional fights, how much blood do you give to the sport where that you make yourself that kind of champion where that you can pick your fights? Haven't you given enough? Haven't you lost enough brain cells? Why you think the Mexicans are supporting Saul? Because unlike everybody else that's saying, "No, he needs to fight this guy, that guy," he already did that. He already got in the ring with the Floyds and all of them. He did all that shit. He got 60 fights and he's only 33 years old. And we're talking about Saul going to retire at 33. Terrence Crawford's 36, fucking going for another title. TJ Doheny is 36, going about to fight for 4 belts. And you guys are like, these guys were talking because Saul Canelo Alvarez got a lot of boxing miles on his body. He's that basketball player with a lot of basketball miles on his knees. You know, he's been around for a long time, and even though he's still fairly young, um, he's fought 60 fucking fights. So at what point do you say that Saul Canelo Alvarez has deserved and earned the right to pick whoever the fuck he wants to fight? And he's making the most money. So it sucks for David the Monster Benavidez. But if I was Saul Canelo Alvarez, I wouldn't give a fuck what you think. I made myself this kind of champion. I wear the crown. Give a fuck what you think. I'm Saul Canelo Alvarez. Bro, I would be arrogant too. You don't become a man like that, put in that much fucking work just to be everybody's pawn. Just as you move when people tell you, hey champ, I say go fight him right now. You got 60, make it 61 professional fights and fight the youngest, greatest upcoming talent we have. Fuck you. I'm not stupid. You go fight that monster. I'm gonna go over here and make a couple $1 million over here. Yeah, I can't say just because I'm not biased, guys. You guys know me by now. I'm gonna speak the truth on both sides. I can sound like an asshole to somebody else, but if you keep hearing me, you'll listen that I'm just speaking in reference to what these men must be thinking or going through. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, for as much as I'm pissed at Saul Canelo Alvarez, because I do want him to see him fight David the Monster Benavidez, and not only because everybody's clamoring over that fight, because Saul Canelo Alvarez, I remember he said some stupid shit out of his mouth. Sometimes what you say out of your mouth, you got to answer for what comes. We're grown ass men. Fuck that. You better watch what comes out of your mouth. Oh, you're not scared of me? Don't. Don't be. That's okay. You ever hear the expression, fuck around and find out? Keep fucking around. You about to find out. I'm trying to tell you. And like, there's just men in this world that like, you know, they've made themselves these kind of champions. There's men that have a lot of pride. I've seen all kinds of men, you know what I mean? But one of the biggest factors that I'm still like thinking about, which is like the elephant in the room for me. What man walks away from $200 million and 100% of pay-per-view buys? Saul Canelo Alvarez does. That's what kind of man walks away from that. Why would you walk away from that much money? The reason why is because there's two gates in the record books for the most money ever made in a boxing match. All the two highest gates and the two lowest highest gates underneath are all owned by the same man, Floyd Mayweather. There has been no boxer in boxing history to pull the money that he pulled off just in the Conor McGregor fight. And even if Saul Canelo Alvarez would have took that 200 million, it wouldn't have been enough money to beat Floyd Mayweather's record. So I think Saul Canelo Alvarez, as a boxer, he knows he has um Floyd beat, as in having all four belts. So he knows he got Floyd beat there, but he lost to Floyd. So what other way could he beat out Floyd? Hold off on that fight with David the Monster Benavidez. There's your $1 billion fight. He's gonna deny that 200 and all that money until that number starts going astronomically. If the Saudis are offering rumored, I heard this. I don't even want to report it because it sounds fucking stupid. But the Saudi prince offered Anthony Joshua 900 million to knock out Dubois. Is this somebody getting their number wrong? Then he said, "I'm gonna give you an extra 9 million or even 90 million." Sounds like too much money. $90 million, and we're missing a fucking big zero. That zero that we're missing is huge, right? They're saying 900 million. That's like 100 million off $1 billion plus the money for the fight. Like it sounds too outrageous. Somebody translated something wrong, I think. That's just too much money, man. 90 million would be too much money. Not 900 million. That's ridiculous. So if The Saudi prince and them kind of people are throwing no kind of money. I think a light bulb went off in Saul Canelo Alvarez's head, and he said, "There's my $1 billion fight." We as fight fans might be fucking pissed off, and a lot of people might be calling Saul Canelo Alvarez a pussy or a duck and this and that. Saul Canelo Alvarez strategically could be looking at this because I am. I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm saying, "There's your $1 billion fight right there." Saul Canelo Alvarez against David the Monster Benavidez, and the Saudis throw the fight, they'll give him the $1 billion, and he'll generate it. Yeah, on pay-per-view buys and shit. They're not gonna throw it in Saudi. They're gonna put that fight in Vegas. They're gonna make Vegas money on top of that. There's your $1 billion fight right there. Now, if Saul Canelo Alvarez walks out of the game and just never fights him, he's a punk. Fuck you. but that yet, but I can't write him off yet. Can't write him off because I'm saying to myself, I think that's what Saul's holding out for. I think that's what he's holding out for. Because if you were at the point where, like you were saying, I'm at the end of my career, $200 million and 100% of the pay per view for all four of my belts. Let's go. That'll be my last fight. If I lose, it'll be my last. I walk away with, 100% of pay per view sales. I want you to understand how much money that is, right? Okay. When Errol Spence Jr. signed to fight Terrence Crawford, he only got paid $3.2 million. His purse. Out of that $3.2 million, he gave his coach, Derrick James, 13% out of the 3.2. So he paid him. When he got his money off the back end from the pay-per-view, Errol Spence Jr. made $23 million off his percentage of the pay-per-view sales. And all Errol Spence Jr. gets for his percentage for the pay-per-view, I think it's like 3%. 3%. Some shit like that. It's not no 13, 20% of fucking paper. No, they don't give fighters that much money. Sometimes they do. Depending if they really want the fighter, because the money in pay-per-view is stupid. It's so much fucking more. Errol Spence Jr. got paid to fight Terrence Crawford $3.2 million, bro. He made $23 million off a fucking pay-per-view. They offered Canelo Alvarez $200 million and 100% of pay-per-view sales. That was going to be $1 billion right there. But you would have to get those pay-per-view numbers up. Pay-per-view money is not like it used to be. Not like in Floyd Mayweather's day, where we didn't have streaming apps where we could steal the shit. You had to buy it, or you had to get that box. They'll send the bullet, blow up, fake blow it up. You gotta turn it off, turn it on. You know what I mean? They'll keep sending bullets all night, trying to fuck up your fight, right? If you hot, right? So yeah, so the pay-per-view money was a lot more in Floyd's day. That's why that record is gonna be hard to break. It's gonna be real hard to break. So, fight fans, listen, guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are having me up here chopping it up all night with y'all, right? And you guys are let me keep going, huh? I thought Canelo said Benavidez would be his last fight. Canelo Alvarez said a lot of things. Canelo Alvarez said that he wouldn't fight Benavidez because he was Mexican. Then his next fighter he went out and fought was a Mexican. Right? Canelo Alvarez said that he didn't want David the Monster Benavidez' belt. When he entered, he was the WBC champion at 168. And then David the Monster Benavidez lost his belt for recreational drug use, cocaine, and he was stripped. What was the next fight Canelo Alvarez fought for? for his vacant belt. Canelo Alvarez has said a lot of things. A lot of things. You want payday, right? But you never know what these guys are gonna do. But I do know one thing. I do know one thing for sure. Canelo Alvarez will do everything to protect his image as that champion, and he will do everything to protect those belts. If it's a high risk fight, I don't think he's going to take it because his success is based on the fact that he wears that silly little crown and he still calls himself the king. And he has what do you see? All four belts. That goes to how those belts speak and have a part to play in his success. That's why he protects that so much. It's not just as easy as Canelo saying, "Oh, I'll just go out there and let me fight the number one guy." No, he understands what he has. He knows its value. He's not so eager like Paul Butler did. Wins the belt. Naoya Inoue needs one infinity stone to unify. And fucking Paul Butler goes, "Yeah, I'll fight you." Like, everybody was shocked. Everybody was like, "Why the fuck would you fight this man?" Like, they just knew he was going to play keep away with that belt. And like I told you guys, when you're a champion and another champion, they can order a fight. They can, when the sanctioning bodies order a fight, that's meaning that they're both in an agreement, but they can't force you to fight them. You're not as mandatory. They can order the fight. They can say WBC and then I don't know, the IBF can say, "Yeah, we agree to the fight." Now let them go in a purse bid and or negotiations. Let them talk about it. But as you can see, and I try to tell you guys this, you can't force Loma to fight Tank. He's a champion. He's a champion. Two separate organizations. IBF has nothing to say what the fuck the WBC does with their belt. They can order the fight. That doesn't mean the fight can happen. They're just saying the two sanctioning bodies are saying we're in agreement with the fight. If you guys want to make the fight happen, we're cool with it. We'll sign off on it. Because every time you get in the ring, the sanctioning body got to sign off on their belt. You can't do whatever you want with their belt. Case in point, Tim Tszyu took that belt. He tried to give a shot to one time Keith Thurman. What did the WBC said? No. One time Keith Thurman didn't earn this shot. He's not even in this weight division. As a matter of fact, we as the sanctioning body are not going to entertain your little circus. And we don't want our belt to be a part of it. So when you schedule your fight, schedule it 1 pound up so that it is not for the title. Their fight, Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu, their fight was scheduled at 155, not 154, and the title was not on the line. When Keith Thurman pulled out because of injury and steps in Sebastian Fundora, then the belt became on the line. Because now you see? But the sanctioning body didn't sign off on it. And if they don't sign off on it, then their belt's not on the line. You're not even defending it, technically, in the record books. Because they didn't sign off. So you need them to say, "Yeah, we approve it." That's when they come and say, "Yeah, we ordered the fight." Yeah, yeah, they're in agreement now. They're in agreement with Tank Davis and Vasily. That's why I say, I'm sorry, guys. Vasily dug Tank Davis, bro. And I like Vasily. And I mean, fighters do this all the time. Doesn't make him a bitch or a punk. Vasily can fight. I would like to see you fuck up Vasily, right? That man can fight. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to go against the Black American slick style. For whatever reason, he doesn't like going up against it. I don't know why. He might think that that's his crit. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But now, who do we want Tank to fight? The obvious answer is Shakur Stevenson. The obvious answer. Okay. Um, the other Ukrainian fighter. The other guy that has the belt, Burchek, him. You know what I'm saying? Um, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. If it ain't Vasily, I don't think it's gonna be Shakur Stevenson. I think Shakur Stevenson's talking tough. Didn't we hear Shakur Stevenson talk tough? His last fight. Devin Haney offered him a shot at 4 belts, and Shakur didn't take a shot at 4 belts. But you're gonna convince me that all of a sudden now Shakur is like, I'm gonna fight Tank Davis, which is a much better fighter than Devin Haney, for less belts. He wouldn't fight Devin Haney for 4 belts, where that I felt that Shakur could beat Devin Haney, right? But yet he's gonna come. He got all you guys fooled that all of a sudden he wants Tank Davis smoke. Just because you say it out your mouth doesn't make it so. And Shakur Stevenson got a lot of fighting to do. Yeah, not with these last 2 performances. Not when Tank Davis is knocking out undefeated fighters that never been knocked out. Frank the Ghost Martin has never been knocked out. Tank knocked him out. And you're going the distance? Just because you say it, don't make it so. I don't think he's ready for Tank. But Shakur Stevenson is an American boxer and shit. And, I'll be critical to him, but, I look, the difference between Tank and Shakur, Tank Shakur Stevenson understands distance really fucking well. Really well. But I think he's understanding it so much it's starting to scare him. He's starting to realize how hard really boxing is. Now, he might have all the skill, but the only way that Shakur Stevenson is good, if you're allowing Shakur Stevenson to do Shakur Stevenson shit in front of you. Edwin De Los Santos had him gun shy with very few punches that he landed on him. Shakur Stevenson altered his fighting. He changed him as a fighter. Edwin De Los Santos changed Shakur that night. Yeah. Shakur Stevenson got all skills, but we can't allow ourselves to be blinded. Just because you're skilled, we know what you're capable of, but can you pull it off? In the time of the fight, are you going to show up when that fight is going to ask much more of you? Shakur Stevenson's going to have to bite down on the mouthpiece in order to beat Tank Davis. Tank Davis is not the type of fighter that counts rounds. He's not going to beat you on the scorecard. Tank Davis was never going to beat anybody on the scorecard. That was never his intentions. Tank Davis wasn't counting, did I win that round because I out jabbed you? Tank Davis was making sure he needed to land the shots he needed to land. Because throughout as the fight is playing out, you might be able to take his shots early. But for how long? When Mario Barrios was winning that fight against Tank Davis, when almost all the fighters that fought Tank Davis were except I don't think that Gamboza won any rounds against Tank. I think Tank was really boxing in that one. I like when he boxed with Gamboa. I like when he beat him. And Tank showed different versions of skill in that fight. He really did. Um, Tank's too smart. And Shakur Stevenson doesn't have enough punch to keep Tank off of him. To keep Tank honest from lunging in. He doesn't have enough. With that big ass melon that Tank got, they call him Tank for a reason, bro. He's gonna eat them shits up, bro. And I think Shakur Stevenson's gonna become gun shy. He's gonna get on his bike And in Tank Davis's training camp leading into the fight, shall he fight Shakur Stevenson? I believe the one thing he's gonna work on the most is cutting off the ring. All you gotta do is cut the ring off to Shakur Stevenson and try to get him in front of you as much as possible until you break him down. By him running and evading, the way the judging system is, supposed to be scored now, right? It's by effective punching first. And if they cannot determine by effective punching, it's whoever's going forward aggression. And if Tank's the one going forward and Shakur's evading for 12 rounds, they're gonna, yeah. So I don't see how Shakur beats Tank really. I don't think Shakur's speed, talent, or skill, it's not that kind of fight. It's not that kind of boxing match when you're boxing Tank. It's not gonna be that kind of fight. This ain't fucking Marvelous Hagler versus Sugar Ray Leonard. No. Hell no. This is like Hitman Hearns versus Marvelous Hagler type shit. And Marvelous Hagler is Tank Davis. Yeah, man. Hitman Hearns had all the skill in the world, lengthy, skilled. Hitman had a punch though. Hitman can crack. That was the difference. And he broke his hand off of fucking the Marvelous is won his head and he only had one hand in the fight. By the second round, I think he broke his hand in the second round. Got knocked out in the third. You know? Yeah, Tank can take. He can weather Shakur's storm. And the way I could see it, yes, Shakur is very talented. He's very elusive. As soon as Tank finds his timing, his range on Shakur, it's just a matter of time. I think so. I think so. I don't think Tank Shakur's gonna be fucking knock out Tank. Fuck no. I don't think so. You would have to really beat the fuck out of Tank Davis. That would shock me to see fucking like Shakur just peppering him. Really bite down on the mouthpiece and just step forward and shit, and blocking a lot of Tank shit. Could Shakur do that? Hell the fuck yeah. But is he gonna do that? That I don't know. I believe he could do that to Tank. If anybody could do that to Tank, it would be Shakur Stevenson. The problem is that since that Edwin De Los Santos fight, I've been like, fuck. He exposed a big flaw in Shakur. He doesn't have that grit. That fucking bam. Oh, what you want? You want? Come on. Now he's like, bam, being cautious. Oh shit. Wait a minute. I don't want to get hit like that. He turns into that guy. His warrior spirit, like fucking go in like motherfucker. Like, nah, that's just not there. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It wasn't there in the last fight, and it wasn't there in that fight. So that's why. Can he do it? Yeah, he can do it. If he decided to, then that would shock me. But I'm questioning that. And that's why I think Tank will beat him. Yeah. Now, Inoue would expose Shank. He would expose Shank. Naoya Inoue and Tank Davis would be like a fucking remarkable fight. That would truly be Godzilla versus King Kong right there. Oh my god. Yo, I'd fucking sell everything in this room right now to buy a ticket to go see that fight. Yo, it's crazy just to sit in the first row. Yo, yo, that would be on. Oh my god, I don't even want to talk about a fight like that. Um, the thing is, for as much as I think that Naoya in a way would definitely outpoint and out like maneuver Tank Davis, I think if Tank Davis is going to see right away that he's not going to be able to take too many of those shots, right? then Tank Davis is gonna go forward. Um, as far as Tank Davis's punch, I think it's too heavy for Naoya Inoue. To tell you the truth, I think his punch is too heavy because of the evidence. Evidence being Tank Davis went all the way up to 140 pounds and knocked out Mario Barrio to secure an interim champion at 140 pounds. That's 20 more pounds plus another 15 pounds. That's 35 more pounds of a guy being heavier than you. Tank Davis is knocking those guys already. Naoya Inoue has never fought anybody that big. He's never knocked out anybody that big. Okay? Tank already knows that. That's like when you do a trick or you lift a certain amount of weight or you fucking dunk a basketball for the first time. Once you know you can do something, it's over. You're not fighting with that part in your head anymore. Tank Davis is knocking out Frank the Ghost Martin. Look at the list of men that Tank Davis has knocked out. Big fucking dudes compared to Naoya Inoue. I think he would just be a little, and with that forward pressure, Naoya Inoue's boxing skill won't be a factor. If you're shutting that's what they call shutting it down is. If Tank Davis is throwing those bombs where Naoya Inoue has to retreat and he's blocking the high guard and it's rattling Naoya Inoue's brain, what do you think? He's a robot? You think he's gonna see every window? You think Naoya Inoue is gonna be able to like shake that off and just step in the middle ring and Tank Davis is gonna allow him to stand in front of him and shine as the boxer he is? There's no fucking way Tank's gonna do that. You know what Tank's gonna do? He's gonna use that side jab, that angle jab, the one that he uses to step in like that, and then he's gonna come down with the 1-2. It's gonna be all power shots. He's gonna bludgeon Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue would have to stay calm in the storm, survive those Tank shots, surprise him to the body, hit Tank hard to the body, catch him within those, and get him a little reluctant for coming in. Keeping him a little reluctant at this point, Naoya Inoue can now work off of his jab. Give Tank Davis a little something upstairs to respect them. At this point, Tank Davis now has felt Naoya Inoue's power. And he's going to try to will himself back in, but he has to recover from them body shots. They enter the next round. Naoya Inoue comes out light on his feet. Tank Davis aggressively pushing forward, knowing that he can't live on the outside with Naoya Inoue, or he can't live in mid-range neither. His best opportunities are going to come when Naoya Inoue is starting to make that first step to engage. How long can Tank Davis keep that kind of pressure? And can Naoya Inoue weather the storm so that in the later rounds, Naoya Inoue can get him a little tired? It would be an amazing fight, wouldn't it? Man, drop that fucking like button. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go, people. You guys are something else, man. I need an ESPN show.
Another one.
Come on, man.
What did he say?
Listen, you heard it. Have you seen Luke Thompson's analyst on Naoya's fight against Neri? Tank may not even be able to get a clean shot in against Naoya. Yeah, you could always see it like that, right? Because of Naoya Inoue's ability and skills. But I haven't seen that guy's breakdown or anything. But if that guy thinks that Tank Davis is going to hang out on the outside and let Naoya Inoue just fire it off on him with mid range, he's crazy. I can tell you one thing for sure, and I'm positive when I say this. Naoya Inoue, Tank Davis can take Naoya Inoue's punch without a doubt. He can take his punch. Tank Davis has been hit by guys 30, 40 pounds heavier. Frank the Ghost Martin can crack. He's a lot bigger than fucking Naoya Inoue. And he's real athletic. Luis Santa Cruz, Leo Santa Cruz, is an amazing boxer, bro. 3 division world champion. Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz has never been knocked out in his career or knocked down. He was knocked down and the referee apologized to him because he recognized it was a rabbit punch. So the only knockdown he actually got was a foul. Leo. Okay? Leo Santa Cruz is a great counterpuncher boxer. Nonito Donaire, Stephen Kubo Fulton, great boxers. Nonito Donaire went toe to toe with Naoya Inoue for 12 rounds. Second time he got brutalized, but yeah. And he took Naoya Inoue's punch. So if you're thinking that these smaller, Paul Butler took his punch for 11 rounds. A lot of guys could take his punch when he started moving up. Now imagine a guy like Tank Davis. Yo, Tank's head is like, yo, bro, listen, skill for skill, I don't think Tank would land a punch against him. But Tank's not going to do that. Why would Tank do that? If Tank's best attributes are that lunging attack against much taller guys. Yeah, man. Now, you also got to understand now, Inoue would have to keep Tank off of him all night. That's going to be hard, bro. It's going to be fucking hard. Tank got yo, he's got the skills and he's just yo, listen, he can crack, man. Now, just as easily I could see that fight playing out that way, I could also see it the way you're saying. I can see Naoya Inoue going in there and completely outclassing Tank Davis. If Tank Davis doesn't believe in who he is and he tries to actually, for some reason, box Naoya Inoue. If Tank Davis goes in there and tries to actually box now, he's going to get fucked up. And the same thing for Tank the same thing that for Naoya Inoue, he's not going to take Tank Davis's punch for too long. That's the same problem Tank Davis got with Naoya Inoue. You might be able to take his punches for a little while, but after that, it's just a matter of time. You keep getting hit with those big shots from Naoya Inoue, you're either going to get fucking brain damage or he's finally going to knock you out. Yo, that shit hurts. Listen, I'm a puncher, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not bragging about anything, right? I can crack, right? I'm gonna tell you something right now. I had to rewind that tape from Naoya Inoue knocking out Luis Pantera Nari. I must have rewind that shit like 30, 40 times, right? And I still can't. I really haven't figured out his technique. He had to be born with that power, right? Because the way he hit him with the same hand, with the uppercut, and then he didn't cock his hand back. He didn't lean back. He didn't do any of that. He went boom and straight forward. Bang. The the violent nature of the way Luis Pantera Nari's head snapped back off that rope, right? That was a brutal knockout. You could see the pain in his face. He was slumped on the rope like this. Look at the way his neck, yo, to generate that much power in that little bit of space, you gotta be special and you gotta understand and you gotta hit hard. Really fucking hard. He can generate shots like that when he's secure, he's locked down, and and he just unleashed it. And then you saw Tank Davis's knockout versus Frank the Ghost Martin, and it was similar in the way it was. It was an uppercut, and then he knocked him out, right? Tank just bang, right, and went straight forward, right? So you can see that both of them have power, both of them have technique. You know what I mean? So you would think that, you know, then it's gonna go down to skill. And Naoya Inoue is the more skilled of both of them, so obviously he's gonna win the fight. But no, 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 no. That's Naoya Inoue's quality. That's his traits. He's skillful. So where's John Vontae Tank Davis's thing? His brute force, his pressure. He's very skilled at that. So they equally have something, you see, and that would just be an amazing fight. It'd be who would catch up to who, and if somebody goes down, how would they recover? Is it early in the round? Is it late in the round? You know, a lot of things, a lot of things. But I don't think it would be a cakewalk for each man. And that, my friends, right there is what I really consider a 50-50 fight. All right, fight fans. Listen, that's what I have for you tonight. Um, I hope you liked the channel. Please give the videos a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And like always, I am on to the next one, fight fans. This has been an amazing show. Thank you. I got to give you the bang on the way out. All right. Listen, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel.
What did he say?
I said subscribe to the channel. I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace. Have a good